Hello! Thanks for joining me for another review. Today we've got a beer from the London Beer Factory, and this is, I'm sure I see a little bit of brightness in the sky. It doesn't say little. A bit of brightness in the sky. So it's a Triple IPA at 10.5% ABV. I've just realised I haven't got the Untapped page up. Doesn't matter, I guess. So yeah, progressive and independent beer crafted in southeast London, here in the UK. So they're on Instagram and yeah, londonbeerfactory.com and Twitter. So check them out. Everything's down below. So the hops in this are Multica. I can never actually pronounce this hop variety. Mutri. Waimita. I don't know. And Raku. So the yeast is Vermont, and then the malts are Golden Promise, wheat and oats. 440ml can, then 10.5% ABV. Doesn't say anything about IBUs on this, but it's pretty good. So yeah, we'll leave the old tasting notes there. But yeah, really interesting looking beer. We'll go into when it's been canned. Hopefully there's a canned on date. Best before the end of the 15th of July of 2020. Goal number, is it 892? Thanks again to my good friend Rocky for this beer. As I said, he sent me a load of beers. It's one of them pull off top cans that I think Edmondson was the first brewery that I had a beer from that done that. So, you know, you don't need a knuckle duster, son, you need one of them. It's kind of one of them deals. Dangerous though. Put out there over the way, or out the way even. Let me get a glass, a reused glass, looking pretty murky as you'd expect in the top of the beer. There we go, pour it in. We're going to go straight down the middle of this one. 10%. Yeah, why not? It's not really pouring much of a head. Kind of what you expect, really. There we go, we're all in. All in, son. So, beer in a glass. Actually, just on observation, for a 10% plus beer, it poured out like a 5% beer. Just before I've reviewed this, I had another beer that was, I can't remember the ABV, 8.2, and it was a lot kind of thicker on the pour than this. Just an observation. You know, I'm not going there yet, but just on first kind of glimpses, it's very hazy. Don't get me wrong. Didn't pour much of a head, as you'd expect for a 10.5. So Triple IPA, there have been a hell of a lot of these kind of strength beers, certainly over the last, 11 months since shenanigans happened in the world, where it's to do with getting rid of hops, to get new hops in, just, you know, the turnover and all that sort of thing. I don't know, but certainly 2020 was the year of the Triple IPA in the UK. I mean, apart from a well-known brewery in Huddersfield that used to do this once a year, a lot of other breweries have caught on to that last year in 2012. I don't get that. And it seems to be creeping up on a lot of breweries. I know that over in the States, the Eastern Seaboard at least, there's been a hell of a lot of breweries that have been doing these kind of things for a fair few years, not just one or two, but quite a lot. Circumstance, whatever, has made breweries do it recently. But anyway, enough about that waffle. So here we are, looking great in the glass. Let's get an aroma. A lot of waffle. Yeah, I mean, it's considering what the beer is. I mean, it's not. I mean, what other Triple IPAs I've had in the past have been a lot more potent in the aroma. just the amount of malt that they've got to use for getting that ABV higher, and then the hops. I mean, to me at least, not being a brewer, but just my assumption. So I'm putting it out there. You'd expect the hop kind of profile on the aroma to be in your face, just to compete with that amount of malt for brewing a 10+% ABV beer. And at the moment, although it's straight out the fridge, what, 38, 40 degrees, there is a certain level of aroma, but I was expecting a little bit more. And maybe that coincides with when I was pouring the beer, just the general look of the beer. It looked a little bit thin for the ABV. Who knows? Let's give it a try, and we'll shut up until we've had a try. Cheers. Cheers, Rocky. It's very sticky on the palate, which that's the first kind of feel I had with the beer. It wasn't mouthfeel. The actual body of the beer is surprisingly, unsurprisingly kind of medium, just on the pour alone. It's got a big kind of grapefruit presence, I'd say. Grapefruit, a little bit sticky, but a medium body, mid-medium body. So it is probably a little bit more of a body than, pardon me, a double IPA I had not too long ago, which was an 8. Pardon me, a bit of carbonation going on this. 8.2 I had just before this, going on to a 10.5, as you can probably tell with my speech. But all that aside, let's go again. It's quite puckering, not a sour puckering, but it's quite an intense grapefruit. It's pretty, you know, a proper yellow grapefruit puckeringness. The flesh of a grapefruit. Certain degree of sweetness in there. Little bit of a stickiness, residual on the more on the lips than the palate. It kind of dissolves quite quickly on the palate, but on the lips it's hanging around a little bit. That initial kind of that smacking flavour. But very nice. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's nothing wrong with it at all. It's a very nice beer. I'm just trying to pull it apart. That's why I'm sort of pausing and thinking. It's not that the beer's it's just it's an interesting one for me at least, for a triple IPA. Not that it's a style, but an imperial IPA. It's still an imperial IPA. It depends who you listen to, I guess. Dried apricots on the nose. Now it's had time to breathe a little bit. Subtle, surprisingly subtle on the nose, and it's probably warmed up a degree or two since I got out of the fridge, and it's still not coming to the fore on the aroma at least. it's still a cracking beer. I don't know what the price of this beer is. I've had a fair few beers from these guys now. I think I've still got one in the fridge. I can't remember what it is. I think it's perhaps a blonde ale, but I'd like to try some of their imperial stouts. I must admit, I might place an order for some stouts from these guys at some point. And how much would this be if it was in the supermarket? I can only imagine. And they wouldn't put a 10.5 IPA in the supermarket anyway. I don't think any brewery would. I don't think Tesco would allow it, to be honest. I think it's a long review, waffling. I don't think they would. I just don't think. I don't know if there'd be a certain price point as well that would be too much for Tesco. A 10.5 beer, the amount of ingredients that have gone into this beer, Tesco would be scared away from it, I think, anyway. And then they'll be worried that it wouldn't sell. Well, you can't have a beer at that price, at that ABV. Which is really nice to get. I mean, if you're new to beer, and you happen to watch this, sorry about that. But if you happen to watch this even. So this brewery is in Tesco's. I don't think this beer is, but yeah. I mean, if you like their beers, go onto their website and give them a try. There's a lot more beers from this brewery that aren't in Tesco's that you should go and try. If you got to the point where you like some of their double IPAs or whatever they've got in the suit, I don't even know. Go onto their website and give them a try. Do a little order. Support the brewery, you know. If you've seen these, don't always rely on the supermarkets. That's what I think I'm trying to get at. If you like a beer from a certain brewery in the supermarket, do a little search, go onto their website. They more often than not have got an actual online shop. Pick out some other beers that aren't in the supermarket. Support the breweries. And there's several breweries that, you know, I could mention, but I'm not going to because it's not fair on this brewery here now. But go and check out them on their website if you've had beers from Tesco and see what other stuff they've got. It's good that supermarkets have opened the door to a lot of people to these breweries at a very competitive price. But then on from that, once you've tried them, go on to the brewery's web store and buy some of their other beers that aren't in the supermarket, because they need all of our help at the moment. That's what I'm getting at, I think. Anyway, I'm waffling on. I've been really sidetracked, but it's still the same brewery. But yeah, let's give it another try and then we'll clear off. I mean, for a 10.5% ABV beer, don't get me wrong, there's no hint of alcohol present. But unfortunately for me, the body's just a little bit lacking. It doesn't match up. It doesn't even give that kind of malt build underline of the flavour of the beer to, you know, you're not getting the ABV, but you're not getting the body that makes you realise, or the malt underneath the body of the beer to actually think, oh, this is actually a 10% beer. Not getting that either, you know. You normally get one or the other. It's either alcohol or the malt build. I ain't getting neither. For a 10% beer, makes it doubly or triply dangerous. It's a dangerous beer because there's not really any kind of hint of the ABV at all. From them two aspects I've mentioned. But anyway, go out. I don't know if it's probably not still around. I'm sure I see a bit of brightness in the sky, and I look forward to spring, like I'm sure many of you are as well. So anyway, that's London Beer Factory. As below, I've already just mentioned the name of the beer. They're Triple IPA, 10.5% ABV. Oh, I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for watching. Check out the playlist down below. Check them out. I'll put all the links down below, their social media outlets, their Untapped page, etc. And yeah, support them. Thanks for watching then, and you all keep safe, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.